We're going to be learning about the set asides that are out there available for you. You may have often heard something called women owned or HUBZone or minority owned, period. We're going to be diving into that, and I'm going to actually show you guys or teach you guys about strategies and techniques that you can go about utilizing these for yourself when it comes to government contracting and technically when it just comes to big business. And know the importance of what all of this stuff means. So you may see it in the government contracting world. Some may mention and call it the socioeconomic status. You know, that is that minority owned status that we're going to be talking about today. And I guess I may should stop saying minority owned, as you guys may or may not be aware. I always forget the case that happened in the Supreme Court where they're technically canceling diversity and inclusion. And the 8A program, which we'll talk about today too, has been impacted by that, where they essentially say, hey, that set aside program is not fair because it's catered to a race of people. And according to our new laws, race can't be the set aside. It has to be like a fair and equal type thing because everybody's supposed to be disadvantaged. Well, I don't want to say you're supposed to be disadvantaged, but everybody in America has something going on that has made an impact that could potentially have them in a situation to be disadvantaged, whether you're black, white, Mexican, or Puerto Rican. And that law got passed to say, hey, we have to change the term and change the rules to say not just minority owned anymore. Now you have to be socially disadvantaged. So just remember the terms, guys. I'm not here to argue about what's right or what's wrong. This is the law. They didn't ask me, just like they didn't ask you. So we just need to learn how to pivot. This is part of being entrepreneur and business owners. When things happen and rules come down, we just got to take it how it is and pivot until it gets changed again. But that's where we're going to be diving into today. Again, talking about those set aside opportunities there for each and every one of you guys. That 23% of the federal government's budget must go to small business. 23% or more must go to small business. And it gives you an opportunity to take advantage of that. So once again, we're going to be diving into that. Make sure that you guys are hitting that like button, hitting that share button, and most importantly, hitting that subscribe button because you guys keep doing an amazing job of telling other business owners about what we got going on over here. So I can't thank you guys enough. Continue to do that. If you are watching me on Instagram or anywhere else and you want to get a live direct feed, you can make sure that you always visit my YouTube channel. And we will be live here. But before we get into today's segment, don't forget we need to do a little bit of housekeeping first. For those of you that just jumped in here, I keep forgetting that we have new followers every day, and I don't even tell you guys who I am. And I'm Dr. Travis Davis, been doing government contracting for over 10 years now. Did my first $1 million at the age of 25, working with Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, of which you guys may know it. I was a subcontractor to the team that managed the help desk of the project. And it just so happened that I was actually working on the prime as an employee. And I 1099 contracted myself back out when we needed to scale. That project was originally 4 people, and I was one of the main people. And as the Affordable Care Act came out, just a lot of stuff happened, and we had to scale up to 182 people. And I took that as my time to jump out there and try to build this thing on my own. And it was a scary place. We didn't have Instagram or any of this stuff, YouTube and stuff to talk to. I didn't know how to run payroll, didn't know about accounting, didn't know about hiring, the rules and regulations, all of that stuff. I didn't know about it, but that didn't stop me from making $1 million. And I say it like that because there's no reason, there's no excuse out here that I want to hear about. Maybe somebody else would like to hear about it, but I don't want to hear the story or excuse of why you can't proceed forward. All of us are going to be presented hurdles. You got to be willing to get over it. And those that do get over the hurdles, you'll be able to make it just like myself. And I had money problems, didn't have money to get started, just got out of college. I didn't have mentors, right? All of the stuff that you guys say, I didn't have that. So here today, we've been able, I think I got to look back at the total, but we've done well over 11 million since starting just of our own business. But I've been also a government consultant to other businesses that I touch in my training, that I believe all of you guys should start to become a government contracting consultant. And we've been a part of teams that have done well over $100 million. One of our main businesses that we work with, Quality Technology. Once again, you guys can go look them up. They've been doing government contracting for over 25 years, and I think they almost at $100 million themselves. So we've had a lot of experience in this space, and we're continuing to learn, get educated in it, and pass this information back down to our community so it can impact my life, your life, the same way that it impacted my life. But before we dive into the lesson today of talking about those set-asides, we got to go through some housekeeping here. Once again, if it's your first time with me, I do thank you guys. But every Tuesday we are here, in this coming Tuesday. Well, not this coming Tuesday. I don't know why I say this coming Tuesday. Like we ain't already here. Next Tuesday, we'll be talking about building wealth through properties on our Dollars to Cents podcast. If you guys haven't checked out the Dollars to Cents podcast, definitely go to YouTube and check that podcast out. I'm tired of everybody getting scammed, and I'm also tired of the people talking on the internet, and it don't make sense. Taking our emotions and our money from us. And I was a victim of that getting started out. Lost over $250,000, trying out things with my emotions and not logic. So we started the Dollars to Cents podcast, and I got a simple formula. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And I don't mean if it makes $1 million, right? If something's going to make you $1 million and you only put $500 towards it, that don't make sense. But if you put $500 towards something and you get 50 back, that makes sense. That's logic right there. And that's what we're trying to break down to you guys over there on that Dollars to Cents podcast. That is every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So make sure that you guys check that out. Next Wednesday, not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday, we will be talking about tips for effective subcontracting. So if you guys want to break down that subcontracting game to another level, you don't want to miss out next Wednesday. So you can take advantage of that. And where are we at Thursday? Tomorrow, what are we talking about? We will be talking about high converting funnels inside of our SB Money Flow. We have a full system in a box. You won't need any other softwares at all to generate just 6 figures and then go to 7 figures. It's the same system I use for my business, and I'm sharing it with you guys. But tomorrow we're going to be talking about building those funnels, aka websites, and we're going to show you exactly how we do that 7 p.m. tomorrow. If it is your first time, don't forget all of our information is stored on YouTube. All of the training that we got there. I'm not telling you how long it's going to stay up there because I don't know yet, but it will come down one day. But while it's up there right now, you can start learning and earning right here on YouTube. So make sure you scan that QR code. And once again, don't be stingy. Tell somebody else about it so they can pick up this information that we're giving out for free right here on YouTube. And if you want to learn more about me, I always say, hey, before you buy anything from me, you jump into my programs. I want your gut to tell you to buy from me. I don't push or sell anything to people. I let you make your own decisions. We don't have sales calls or anything of that nature. If you want to learn more about me before you make that decision, follow me on Instagram. I try to keep you guys updated about my thoughts and ideas right on my Instagram story. So make sure you guys are checking me out over there. Before we dive in, y'all know how we got to get it started, man. Make sure that you guys are putting in the chat wherever you are watching from that you are a millionaire. I am a millionaire, not a billionaire. Don't you put I am a billionaire. I just want you to say I am a millionaire. That is something that is achievable. We can get to the millions, but it starts with you believing that you can get there. So the more you guys keep typing that and writing that down everywhere that you go, the millions will attract to you, because you got to start taking millionaire activities, millionaire actions. And this is one of the actions right here. By listening to millionaire information, it will get you to where you need to be. Also, let's see who we got in the building. William, what's going on? Glad to see that you are back here with us again tonight. Appreciate you for being here. Out in Memphis. Hey, I heard they got a lot of projects going on out there in Memphis as far as the real estate side. I was watching something the other day. See, guys, when you make a lot of money, you're naturally going to turn into an investor. That's why, and again, on my Dollars to Cents podcast, I tell you invest in yourself first. Because when your business starts cash flowing a lot of money, you either pay the IRS half of it, or you learn how to become an investor. So I'm in the investor side as well, and I've been studying up, and I've seen that there's a lot of opportunity with Memphis growing up there. They're trying to bring some high-end luxury living out there. I remember I went out there during the pandemic, and it looked like a rundown town. Timothy Jones out in Houston. What's going on? Y'all know I love me some Houston. Appreciate you for being here. Larry, what's going on out there in Hampton, Virginia? Appreciate you being here as well. We got Just Carter. I am a millionaire. I appreciate you being here as well, millionaires. We got, I'm about to mess it up, Crisply on Instagram from Carolina. We got another millionaire in the building. ARG in Atlanta, what's happening with you? We got Muhammad, another millionaire in the building. What's going on with you? Louis, what's happening? I don't remember seeing your name up here before, Louis. If it's your first time to the channel, I appreciate you for being here. C. Nash, I'm not sure I remember that name as well, but thank you for being here as well out in Baltimore, Maryland. What's going on with you? Thanks. Not too far from down the street. We got Ralph out in Nashville, Cashville. Funny story that I have with Nashville. Nashville changed my life. When I first started out in government contracting, guys, I was making a lot of money and didn't know what to do, man. I was just partying, eating it up, you name it, I was doing it. Was doing things that I wasn't supposed to be doing either. But I knew it was supposed to be something else. And I used to go to this golf course down the street from me all the time because they said the money is on the golf course. I didn't know what I was doing on the golf course. I would just go there. And these two Caucasian guys, now, if you guys don't know about golf is pretty expensive. And these two Caucasian guys, I went there 3 times straight, and I seen them sitting there relaxing 3 times straight. And I always tell you guys to use your voice. Your voice is going to get you to where you need to be. But if people can't hear you, they can't help you. So these 3 guys are at the golf course. These 2 guys are at the golf course that I seen 3 days straight. And I had to go over there and ask them, hey, what do you guys do? Because, I know what I do that got me here, but what do you guys do that got y'all here? So they told me that they do sales. And I'm like, oh, cool, all right. So they introduced me to this software called ClickFunnels, and I ended up getting it. Didn't do anything with it for a year. Came back to that golf course a year later, and those same guys were sitting right there in the same spot over again. Called me over, had a beer, and they go, so what'd you end up doing with ClickFunnels? And I'm like, oh, man, I didn't really do too much with it. And they go, we know, because you signed up under our account and we could see you were BSing with it. So they tell me, hey, you seem like you don't believe. So we want you to go down to Funnel Hacking Live. It just so happened to be coming up. They sent me to Funnel Hacking Live. I get on a plane and go to Nashville, Cashville. Now, guys, this is my first time ever going to the middle of the United States. I have a fear of the middle of the United States because all these movies that they put in front of my face, all these slave movies. Mississippi, Nashville, Tennessee, Kentucky, any of them places I don't want to be at. I don't go places that don't like my presence. Okay. So I hop on this plane that these two Caucasian men have recommended. Ain't nothing on the plane but Caucasian men. I get the funnel hacking live. This is way back in the day too. It's diverse now. When I get to funnel hacking live, it's probably about 10 black people at funnel hacking live, and none of them want to talk to each other because I tried. So I'm sitting there in funnel hacking live, and I'm still not believing, but I see these kids go across the stage of the 2 Comma Club winners, and that says that, these people have generated $1 million on the internet. And I watched the teenager edition. Now, it was 4,000 people in the room. Over 200 kids came up on that stage to say that they made over $1 million and got a plaque. Now, I'm a numbers person. I'm just doing the math and I'm scratching my head and the percentage of millionaires in this room is insane because that was the kids edition and then the adults came up after. Over 800 people generated $1 million on the internet. Now, I just did simple mathematics and looked at the statistics and said, well, wait a minute. The stuff that my community called scams, because this was like selling on the internet very early in the days, my community called it a scam. Come to find out, it's a lot of money being moved right here, and I just don't know about it yet. That day, after watching them kids walk across that stage, it literally changed my whole thought pattern of what I was doing. Because I'm a competitor. I couldn't see that these kids are generating millions of dollars, and I'm over here, trying to figure it out, wrecking my brain with this government contract and stuff that I don't know how to run payroll. I don't know how to manage employees correctly. All of this stuff, I just don't know how to do it. I was just making some money and didn't know what to do next. I went back home. I started studying online marketing, and then I dove deeper into sales, and that was the day that changed my life right there in Nashville, Cashville. I went to a place that was uncomfortable and turned it comfortable. I'm trying to tell you, when I walked in that room of over 3,500 Caucasian people, that was a very uncomfortable situation for me. But I talked my way out of it and just said, hey, the man upstairs has put me in a situation to see if I'll break. See, here's the thing that you guys do when you go to events like that are uncomfortable to you, especially if you fly there and you're supposed to stay there over the weekend at the conference. You go back upstairs to your hotel room. You don't want to talk and communicate with other millionaires that are sitting in a room because you think just the people on the stage are going to be the ones that change your life. It's the people in the audience. And by me talking and communicating and letting a room full of Caucasian people know that I'm having trouble moving forward in these steps, guess what happened? They grabbed my hand and said, well, we'll show you the way, Travis. Don't sweat it. We've already done that stuff. Matter of fact, call us tomorrow and we'll give you the whole blueprint. But you still got to do some work. And ever since that day, we just took off, man. And I've grown out of ClickFunnels. We started our own SB Money Flow. I haven't left online marketing. I started a whole agency after really understanding the power of marketing. So that was the long story of Nashville, Cashville, man. I love me some Nashville, Cashville, strictly because it changed my life. Crystal, what's going on with you? Pleasure to see you here. Nadir, hopefully I said that correctly. Pleasure to see you here as well. Ralph loved the story and funny. I moved here because I wanted to be out of my comfort zone. You sure enough out of your comfort zone in Nashville, Cashville, but take advantage of it, man. Some great things going out there in Nashville. So let's get ready to dive into this thing when we talk about set aside opportunities for government contracts, the millions of dollars that are sitting right there for you for set aside opportunities. The first question that I want to ask you guys, how many of you guys actually have a certification to be a quote unquote minority owned business? Put a 1 in the chat if you actually have a certification. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't have any certifications. Now, I want to tell my ladies this. Just because you are a lady, woman, I can't keep up with that stuff. People don't call me a lady, call me a little woman, whatever. Okay. Just because you that don't mean that you can self-proclaim yourself to be a women-owned business. It's very, very important that you understand that. When we talk about a HUBZone, which is your home address being in a certain location, just because your address falls, or your home or place of business, the headquarters of your business, just because that falls in the address of a HUBZone, you can't self-proclaim yourself to be a HUBZone. Just because you went to the military and you do have a disability, you cannot self-proclaim yourself as being a service-disabled, veteran-owned business. Just because you went to the military, you cannot self-proclaim yourself to be a veteran-owned business. So I see that we got a lot of twos in the chat. That's great. That means you don't have the search yet, but now you can get a better understanding before we go after these things. Now, once you can get that understanding that everything you can't self-proclaim, we got to go get paperwork. Now, it's important, guys. You could choose to pay people for this, but I'm not a fan of you guys paying people for registration stuff, because these certifications, they don't get you no money. All right. I want to make that very aware. You do not make money because you got certified. You can win government contracts without a certification. All the certification is going to do is levy the playing field. It's going to give you strategic approaches to go after opportunities, so you don't have to compete with me. So you don't have to compete with a Lockheed Martin or a Booz Allen. So you don't have to compete with another white male organization. Well, I should take that back. Things have changed now. It lowers the competition is what I'm trying to tell you. It could even put you in a situation that the government can directly award you an opportunity and you never have to compete with anybody. That's the power of the certifications. Now, I want everybody to remember this number. Put 23 in the chat. 23. I need you guys to remember 23, and I don't mean Michael Jordan. But if you can remember Michael Jordan at 23, that's cool with me too. 23 is greatness. And that's how we going to look at this thing. Now, I say it 23 because of this. The federal government, okay, I need you guys to understand this. The federal government, they spend, how much they spend? $3.54 trillion with a T. They spend $3.54 trillion every year with a T. Okay? Out of that $3.54 trillion, 23% must go to small businesses. I hope you guys are understanding that. So you could do your own math. You could pull out the calculator and you could do $3.54 trillion, 23%. And then that's how much money is accessible to all of us. That's a lot of money. And here's the beauty. It's set aside. It's in a space that Lockheed Martin can't get, Booz Allen can't get, Northrop Grumman can't get, Dell can't get, Apple can't get, Microsoft, all of the Fortune 500 companies, they can't get, and then a whole lot more. They can't access that 23%. The only way that they can access that 23%, I hope you guys are understanding this, is if you are on their team and you lead the show. You have to be the prime contractor, and then Lockheed Martin could be your sub, and that's how they could access some of that 23%. Now, I want you guys to understand something else. That is the federal government's requirement of spending the money. But they also have the same type of requirement for the Lockheed Martins, the Booz Allens, the KPMGs, the Fortune 500 companies. They say, hey, We're going to command that 23% of our spending goes to small businesses, but we're also going to require you big boys that are winning billion-dollar plus contracts, we're going to require that you have a small business subcontracting plan in order to win this $2 million contract. So not only does the federal government have 23% set aside directly for us to become prime contractors, but then they're telling the big prime contractors you can't access $2 billion without having small businesses on your team. I tell you this because you got to stop telling yourself this ain't real. You got to stop telling yourself, I can't do this. When I'm trying to tell you that there's so much money out there every single year that the reason you're not getting it yet is because you ain't got uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? You keep trying to go talk to people that you're comfortable with and they don't have nothing for you. But this space right here can put you in a space with, all world beaters, companies that are just out here doing amazing things and they're willing to help you. But as I started the beginning of this and I told you my story in Nashville, ain't nobody going to help you if they can't hear you. And you just waving your hand and saying, hey, I'm a black owned company or I'm a minority owned company, don't help me hear you. You telling me that you have the certifications that we're going over today, that doesn't help me hear you. Matter of fact, it puts plugs in my ears because that's what you keep trying to lead the conversation with. And all that sounds like to me is that you're begging. I told you that this certification does not get you money. It allows you to become strategic. But you got to put the strategy together. You putting the strategy together lets me know that you understand government contracting. If you come approach me, I already make millions. I don't have time to sit down talking about no $10,000 opportunities. I don't have time to sit there and read an opportunity for you that's worth $200,000. It just don't make sense to me anymore at the space that I'm at. But I started right there. And I'm trying to teach you guys the way that I started. And if I knew what I knew now, how I would start differently. And I'm going to break this stuff down to you guys today as we dive deeper into this thing called set asides. And I should stop saying minority. I got to stop. Listen, guys, the reason why I say I got to stop saying minority, before that law came down, man, minority used to have power. Right now, the word minority ain't got no power like it used to. We missed out on our 40 acres and a mule. Honestly, the way that it goes now, as long as you can prove that you've been disadvantaged, and you got to go look up the government's definition of the word disadvantage, not your own personal definition, because what you'll start to see that, the definition of disadvantage to the government, everybody, black, white, Mexican, Puerto Rican, male, female, everybody in the United States has some type of thing that has happened in their life that puts them in a social disadvantaged position. So the minority's gone. Y'all cried so long and didn't take advantage of the minority for as long as it was here, and it was here for a long time. Now things have just opened up, but it ain't no need to cry. We just got to pivot and figure out what we got to do next. So social disadvantage is going to be the term that we need to remember. And I'm going to try to remember myself to keep saying that word instead of minority. I got to change my vocabulary up for that. But what we're going to dive into today is, first, I want to share my screen here with you guys. All right. And then, sorry, we're going to come here. There we go. We're going to go into our back office of our SB money flow. So I have a bunch of lessons already here, and I want to come to come on. Is it going to open up for me? Come on. Come on. I want to take you guys to this one segment in here. Hopefully, there we go. All right. So these are all the lessons that you guys are going to get when you get into SB Money Flow, but it's this useful link section right here. Now, government be changing up their links sometimes, but, I'll come back and take a look. But anyways, one of the best things that I like to pay attention to is the small business scorecard. It's the report card. And guys, the government, they say that they're going to do stuff, but somebody's got to hold them accountable. And this scorecard is one of the accountabilities. And as you guys can see right here, that they have a prime contracting achievement goal of 50% and a subcontracting goal of 20%. What does that mean? They have a goal of all prime contracts that come out in the federal space, that 50% of the prime contracts go to small businesses. They understand that America's built off of small businesses, not the large businesses. The small businesses would employ a lot of people and make things happen. So the president now has been pushing for 50%. Now, this isn't mandatory like that 23% is. This is a goal. I hope you guys are understanding that there's a difference between something that's mandatory and something that's a goal. Their goal is to achieve 50% and their goal is to achieve 20% subcontracting to small businesses. But as we go down here, then they're never going to have anything like up to date to 2023. The government's always behind. All right, so as you guys can see, government-wide, it says that the government has an A rating towards this small business thing. That means that they're doing a very good job at spending money with small business. This is why I push so hard for us to understand government contracting. I don't know what people talking about. It's plenty opportunity here for you. I don't care your niche, what industry you in. It is opportunity here. Do y'all understand? We are talking, and it's well over $3.54 trillion. But do you understand how much money $3.54 trillion is? Do you understand how many opportunities that opens up for you? I know the internet tries to make dollars, sound like it's just some small number. Even like $100 million, the internet tries to make it sound like, oh, everybody just got $100 million. Like people struggle to make $1 million. Do you know how many 10 millions you got to get to 100 million? Do you know how many 100 millions you got to get to a billion? Do you know how many 100 billions you got to get to a trillion? And we talking about over $4 trillion being spent. Opportunity is available for you in this space. So let's take a look. Prime contracting as a whole in the government, well, they did 56%. That means that they're achieving their goal of doing business with small businesses directly. Now, I also want to stop right there. I need to pause for a second right here because I don't want you guys to have some type of false beliefs, and I may instill that in your mind right there. Now, can anybody tell me in the chat what would be considered a small business? What are the parameters that make you a small business? And you're probably not going to give me an answer that's wrong. Right? So don't feel bad like, oh man, I don't quite know the answer. See, I'm asking you guys this question because we're playing in a space where you have to remove your emotional definition to things and you just got to go look at the government's black and white definitions, right? There's no emotions behind their definitions. It's just like, this is law. This is what's on black and white paper. This will be the definition moving forward. So, things that are small businesses, guys. A small business in America, well, usually they're going to be under 500 employees. So The government ain't talking to your mom and pop shop, is what I'm trying to tell you. When they get on the news and stuff and they talk about small businesses and, America's built off the back of small business, like they're not giving you no props because you have one employee. I seen that answer right there, Lewis, right? I like that answer right there because yes, Louis, I'm sorry, say Lewis. Yes, you are a small business with one employee. And that's what I need you to understand. The minute that you start your business, you're a small business. Now, see, the paperwork says small business. It don't say I have to have 300 employees to be a small business. It says anything under. Well, I got one employee. I have to understand with my one employee, I'm just as powerful as the small business with 400 employees. The only difference is they got some more money than me and they probably got stronger past performance. But the laws is the same. I'm just as powerful as you. So I want you guys to really understand that. Now, the other thing that's going to justify your small business is your NAICS code. That's your NAICS code. All right. Your NAICS code, some of them will have a determination that says, hey, if you make over this amount of money, you become a large business. Or if you have over this certain amount of employees, you become a large business. Something like construction. So like I'm in IT, right? So I believe ours is $30 million a year. So if I consecutively make over $30 million a year, I become a mid-sized business, right? If I have over, I think it's 499. I always got to go look to confirm, but I ain't nowhere near it, so I really don't pay attention to it. But I believe it's if I have over 500 employees, then I'm considered a large business, right? So those are the two things that you want to watch out for. Now, you really want to watch out for this stuff because I almost slipped up one time and took a product contract on. And I was wondering why the product contract was just coming to me so easily. And it was a very large product contract. Well, come to find out, guys, the reason why they wanted me to take that deal is because it would have knocked me out of being a small business the day that I won a deal. And I don't want to compete with Lockheed Martin and Booz Allen. You don't stand a chance. All right. So now that we understand what the definition of small business is, now we need to come back here and start to take a look at this stuff. Put a fire emoji in the chat if you guys are understanding what I'm telling you guys so far. I want to make sure that I confirm that you're picking this information up. So now as we come look down here at the scorecard again, we can see in our ledger that they're saying, hey, the red mark stands for small business. The green stands for women-owned business. The blue is disadvantaged business. Disadvantaged business is 8As, okay? The service disabled veteran-owned is green, and the yellow is HUBZone. Now, the government struggles meeting the HUBZone marker. HUBZone, so let me start here too. So that 23% that's set aside for small businesses, well, here we go. Out of that 23%, now, I always hate doing this. I really should look it up, right? But out of that 23%, we got to say something like 5% of the 23% goes to women-owned businesses. 3% of that 23% goes to HUBZone businesses. And you can just keep doing the math. 5% goes to 8A, another 5%, another 5%, and then you total it up, it gives you 23%. That's how they're coming up with the spending for small businesses. Now, you also got to realize that you being a women-owned business, disadvantaged service, or HUBZone, those are all small businesses. I tell you that because if the government, say you're a women-owned business, right, and they have a small business score that they're trying to reach, yes, the contract fell under a women-owned business, but they still are going to get credit for doing business with a small business. Now, imagine if you have all of the check marks. Your business is headquartered in the HUBZone. You are a service disabled veteran owned company. You are in the 8A program. You are a women owned business and you're a small business. Anytime one agency does a deal with you, they get to check all the boxes to say that they did a deal with all of those different brackets. That's a strategic thing that you just need to keep in your mind. And I'm going to tell you some strategies here a little later on about this stuff, okay? Now, before we dive in any deeper, let me come back here. So we're on SBA.gov. That's where that scorecard came from. So now I'm looking at the federal contracting tab, okay? Now, as you can see down here, these are all of your programs. This is exactly where my back office is going to take you guys. So if you were right here in my back office and you click women owned, I don't want to teach you guys anything that ain't the official government's information. So we come right here. And this is where you can click and find out more information about the program of the certification that you want to get. So if you want to be a women-owned business, you can come right here. Once again, you can't self-proclaim to be a women-owned business. If you want to get into the 8A program, a veteran-owned, service disabled, all of this stuff is right here. Now, what else is right here? They have something called a joint venture. But why would they put a joint venture in the same place that they put all of the social disadvantage statuses? Why do you guys think that they put joint venture information in the exact same place that they have information about disadvantages? Go ahead, let me know in the chat what your thoughts is as to why they would put that right there. And of course, I'm going to break it down to you guys. But here's the kicker. Let's say you get registered in SAM.gov and you go, well, Travis, I looked at all the stuff and, I'm beating myself up because I can't fit the criteria. Come on, Louie. Come on, Louie. You got it. Collaboration. The government's trying to tell you, we know you don't have everything, but we got some rules in place to fix that. It's called joint venture. It's called the SBA Mentor Protege Program. We know you don't have it together, but that don't mean we don't want to help you. See, the issue in the Black community is we keep listening to ignorance when it comes to the government. The only thing that we know about the government is all the negative stuff that they put on social media. All we know about the government is all the money that they're sending to countries, and we just get in an uproar about it and we say it ain't fair. When they have all of these programs that if we would just stop paying attention to the negative stuff, because the president ain't never asked none of us our opinion. I've never seen the president come in my house and ask me my thoughts, not one time, not my mother's thoughts, not my grandmother's thoughts, not anybody in my family. They never, ever asked a thought. They may have asked for a vote and they still didn't come in my house to do that. So I can't get caught up in things that I have no control over. But this I got control over. I got control over every one of these things right here. So since I understood that they have these joint ventures and mentor protege programs in place, I studied them a little bit more. And here's the kicker, guys. Every single one of you guys should be a women-owned business. Every single one of you guys should be a service-disabled, veteran-owned business. Every single one of y'all should be in the 8A program. Every single one of you guys should be a HUBZone. And you may be saying, well, Travis, I'm not a women-owned business. Guys, I'm a women-owned business. I got 4 businesses under my belt right now that I consult to that are women-owned businesses. And damn it, if I come across an opportunity that I know how to do and I got the relationships for it, what do you think I'm going to do? Do you think I'm just going to let the opportunity fall by the wayside because I read it and it said that this was set aside for women-owned businesses? And I'm just, oh man, let me tuck my tail. This one ain't for me. It just said that I could do it. All I was reading was the statement of work. I can do the work. That means that I can do the work. Now I have to get out of my feelings and I have to do business. And I need to find a women-owned business that's going to take the lead and bring me on as the subcontractor. Or we can do a joint venture agreement if the opportunity allows for that. If the opportunity don't allow for that, maybe I could do a mentor protege with a larger business. Don't do no mentor protege programs with a business. Like, it's no point in me and you being in a mentor protege program. That's just stupid. Right? I don't make $1 billion. Why would you want me to be your mentor in this program? The whole purpose of this is to have a Lockheed Martin or somebody as your mentor. So now when you approach opportunities and they see on your paperwork that Lockheed Martin is your mentor, oh, trust. They're not worried about trusting you. They know Lockheed Martin ain't going to allow the opportunity to crumble. They know Lockheed Martin got the resources, KPMG, Northrop Grumman. They know them big boys got the resources to bail you out if you get in some trouble. That's what the SBA Mentor Protege Program is for. And guess what happens in this Mentor Protege Program? Imagine if you're in the 8A. You can become a mentor with Lockheed Martin and you guys can start a joint venture inside of the Mentor Protege Program. So now I'm doing two separate things. I'm saying, hey, my company and Lockheed Martin, we're getting into a mentor protege relationships, what now allows them to, we can use money and resources, all types of things can happen now that would be illegal any other way. But now that we're in there, now I'm going to take the mentor relationship and do a joint venture. A joint venture says that you can use each other's qualifications to the T. Well, the mentor protege program also says that I could take on anything past performance and stuff like that of that nature of Lockheed. Well, now that I just combined this joint venture, I made it so powerful because at first I had to keep things separated. But this is all one business now inside of this joint venture. I can now have Lockheed Martin's board members or their subject matter experts take key positions in this joint venture, and I ain't got to worry about being pass-throughs and all of that stuff. But that's a whole nother lane, guys, right? You don't need to wreck your brain. I'm just telling you this stuff so you don't cheat yourself out of opportunity. All you need in this space is time. Do you have enough time to put the pieces together that it makes sense? And the only thing that makes sense is if everybody's making money. You know what I'm saying? I don't know anything. Like, leave that emotional stuff at the door. And I'm telling you right now, if you come into me or anybody else that's making over $1 million and you only talking about making $25,000, $30,000, I don't want nothing to do with that. You should be able to figure that out on your own. You don't need my assistance to do a $200,000 deal. Now, we start talking about $3-4 million, then you probably need some assistance. I can help you out with that. But for $200,000, the only thing you may need assistance is me giving you some money for the project. But outside of that, I don't need to help you do a $200,000 project. Don't nobody else need to help you do that either. You should be able to make that happen by yourself. All right. Now let's get back to these set-asides right here. I told you each one of them have a certain amount of money. Now, inside of SB Money Flow, I'm about to get back in here real quick. Yes, I keep referring back to my tool because this is the tool. What I do is say, okay, well, let me come back to this grading card. Let me pull this grading card back up. Ah, damn it. Didn't mean to go out of there. All right, so as I come down and I pull this scoring card back up, I teach you guys to do your research first. So all I'm going to do is come inside of here to my GovCon marketplace inside of SB Money Flow. I got my NAICS codes right there, okay? I put my NAICS codes in and I see what agencies are spending my money, okay? I want to know who got all of my money. Because this is who I need to start following. I need to start this process. So I'm just going to do some stuff because I don't really feel like reading through it all. But let's say my agency is HHS. Okay. I'm going to take a look at HHS and I'm going to see their small business grade is a C. We got some trouble. This is what I tried to tell you guys of you learning your customer and how to transact with your customer. Because I told you the SBA as a whole, the government say that they have an A rating. But this agency only has a C. So I see there's a problem that I can bring a solution to. The solution is minority spending. I don't even know the work yet. I tell y'all, follow the money and you follow opportunities. And you find opportunities, sorry. That's where I start at all the time. That's why we call things pure money. All I know is money. So I'm tracking the money down and I look through my software to see who had my money. Then I'm coming back to track it. So I get to HHS. And I start with HHS because Obamacare, my largest contract is with CMS, Center for Medicare Services. CMS is under the department of HHS, right? So now I look at the scorecard C. I come down here. Well, they say they had a goal of prime contracting to be 50%. Well, they did 44%. Now keep in mind, 23% of the budget needs to go. So they're actually meeting the requirement. They're just not meeting the goal, right? But there's opportunity here. So now I look and I say, well, where aren't they meeting their goal at? Well, I could take a look here and chances are they're not doing enough work with small business. They're only hitting 23%. So now I know I got an opportunity. As a small business, there's opportunity with HHS. That should probably be one of my agencies. Like, why the hell would I want to go, and I'm just making this up, I haven't checked it yet, but why would I want to go over to Department of Energy and they have an A+ rating of working with small businesses? To me, they're saying that they already got all their businesses locked up. You know, like I don't like competition, but I love competing through strategy. It's just when it comes down to the line, like I want to laugh in your face because I used a strategic approach that you couldn't do. So now I'm looking, small business is an opportunity. So the next thing, disadvantaged business, right? Well, this is that 8A. They're doing 13%. They're doing a good job at spending with 8A, so that's not my way in. Women-owned business. They at 5%. They could do a little bit more. If we look down here, they got down to 4.75% around 2022. So, I mean, they're falling off of working with women-owned businesses. So there's an opportunity there for women-owned business. But here's the kicker. It's the service-disabled, veteran-owned business and the HUBZone businesses that they're only doing 1% with. So in my mind right now, if I know cybersecurity, if I know energy, if I am, well, we're talking about health, if I'm a nurse, if I know psychiatric stuff, like I need to go find a service-disabled, veteran-owned business, a HUBZone business, and a woman-owned business, and I need to start this, like, this is my tool belt that I'm trying to build right now, and I'm not just going to go find one of them, I'm going to go find 3 of them. But here goes the other kicker. Like, you guys may take a long time to find these people, but I'm coming back to my software right here, and I'm just actually going to go click in the agencies, you know what I'm saying? And I can start to see what agency down there got all my money, and I can come over here to the businesses, and now I can just start looking. I can come over here and say, okay, I want active businesses in the last 12 months. I don't want no off-brand businesses. And where should you start with your businesses first? Probably in your own backyard. So I'm clicking Maryland because that's where I'm at, and now I'm going to look over here. And I don't want any businesses. I want the businesses doing big money and got my NAICS code. And then I'm seeing if they got the certifications that I need. And guess what I'm doing after that? Putting myself in an uncomfortable position and picking up the phone and calling them. I'm sending them an email and I'm starting my FU system, follow up. I'm going to figure out what events they attend and I'm going to start to register myself to attend the exact same events. Because all I need is one of them. Although I'm going to shoot at 5 of every category, I just need one to put me on their team, and I already can confirm that they know how to do the work. Because I'm just looking through my tool. I don't like working with people off the street that I ain't got no proof that they've ever done anything. Well, I can see this right here. Now, you may be asking, well, Travis, why would that business even need you? Well, it could be that they're a large business and I'm a women-owned business, and I just showed you that we're going after opportunities under women-owned business that they can't tap into without me. So I'm going to take the prime, they're going to take the sub. I've never heard businesses that make millions of dollars that don't want to make more millions. They're okay with you taking millions and they get millions too. They're fine with that. They're okay with you taking more millions than them because they got about 50 other projects going on. You just one little small drop in the bucket. They may get on your team because they are a woman-owned company, but they're spread so thin that they don't have the resources to get educated on how to work with CMS. So you become their business consultant to CMS. And I'm looking all this stuff up real quick, man. I don't have time to play around. Everything to me is about the law of numbers. It depends on how much I do. Now, you could cry, complain, and say, well, Travis, I called 3 companies and all 3 of them hung up in my face. Well, I'm going to ask you, what did you say to the 3 companies when you called? And you probably said something like, hi, my name's Tiffany. I work with the government, and I seen some contract opportunities. Click. And then you called the next one and you said the exact same thing again. Click. And my question is, when are you going to try to change up what you're saying? How many more clicks do you got to go through to just understand it's not that this don't work, the way you're trying to work it don't work. All you got to do is change your elevator pitch. Haven't you all heard of elevator pitches before? The best way to do this, though, guys, is all of you guys always look for a script to do this. There's no script to business. There's no script to communicating to a person. I don't know if you had a bad day when I go talk to you. I don't know if you could have experienced the death in your family that day. I don't know if your dog is sick at home. I don't know if you could have had a miscarriage or something. Anything could have happened. And me as a business owner or entrepreneur, I have to know how to communicate wherever you're at that moment. And the only way I'm going to do that is I have to talk to you and I need you to talk back to me. So there's skills to that of forcing somebody to communicate back to you and you learning how to shut up and let them do the talking. You do the listening. Instagram, you guys are about to cut off. I'm going to start this back up so you guys don't miss any of this information, but I'm just giving you a heads up. You're about to cut off and I'll start you back up. All right. So now that we got an understanding that, okay, there's tons and tons of opportunity here because I'm going to start viewing things differently than what I did previously. Now I can start looking at this stuff better. Now I can really start coming up with a strategic approach to my millions. And we do something called a pipeline. Okay? Now, here inside of the SB Money Flow, you would start loading up all of your opportunities on this here thing called a pipeline. And you put them on your government contract and CRM. And what should happen is if you want to make $1 million by the end of 2024, I should be able to see $10 million worth of opportunity at minimum right here on your pipeline. Now, if you guys really, really want to be smart about this, your pipeline would have multiple strategic approaches. Now, Those of you guys who learn government contracting from the people who ain't really making that trill money in government contracting, they just tell you like throw stuff over the fence and go after products. Like again, product sales with government contracting is cool. That's how I got started. But I'm telling you, that's not going to generate wealth for you. All you doing to me is creating a job for yourself, searching products every day and stuff. I've been down that lane, but I didn't know that I didn't have to start there. If I would have took this approach, I would have became a millionaire 10 times faster than what I did. So what you should do when you build your pipeline up, can anybody take a guess of how the opportunities should be laid out on my pipeline based off what I've told you thus far today? Like, what do you think? How do you think that these opportunities should start flowing based off how I told you to build your tool belt? See, if you ain't got no tool belt, you can't see this. And honestly, if you didn't do the research first, you don't understand how to build your tool belt. You know what I'm saying? This is why y'all got to get in the 30-day challenge. Let me pop that up right here while y'all are thinking about that for a second. We got a 30-day challenge coming up January 2nd. For 30 days, guys, I'm going to dig in. I'm going to teach you guys how to build a business with the proper systems, a correct business, not a business that just does work with the government. Real businesses do work with the government, business to business, and business to consumer. Y'all see me doing business right now with business to consumer. The internet, me going live is business to consumer. I do contracts with business to business. $50,000 is the minimum contract that I do for my consulting work for government contracting. I don't even offer that stuff to the internet. This is for my big businesses that are generating revenue already. Our team comes in and we handle government contracting for them, whatever they need. If they need us to do certifications, if they need us to stand in business meetings for them, which most of them do, we go handle meetings for them. And we don't invite them to a meeting until I need a decision maker, but they pay me to go sit in front of Congress, to get on these Zoom calls and all this stuff and put their clothes on and represent their company. I get an email address and all of that stuff. I represent them when I go sit in front of the customer, but they pay a very large price. And then I got my own contracts with the government. That way, if the financial sector, the consumer sector's interest rates go up and my whole business was based on consumer, guess who is going to struggle? I would, because my whole business is based on consumer spending and they stop spending. But guess if I had this position right, when the consumer stops spending, well, the government spends more. Don't they just start handing out money and stuff like that? Well, there you go. You're able to pivot to where the money is if you build this right. And we're going to teach you guys that starting January 2nd. You guys may want to jump into this. It's only 50 spots. Make sure you get into sbgovconlive.com. I'm telling you, we're going to break it down like no other. Now, let's see what you guys came up with here. How should you build this pipeline? We got based off certs. I like that answer. Based on agency, NAICS, and certs. Correct. Based on the revenue that the companies are bringing in. No, not that one. We're going to load this pipeline up based off, of course, money, your agency, and then I told you guys your tool belt should have every certification. So if I was to put $11 million up here and I'm just so selfish and I just keep thinking about me all the time and all of the money that I'm going to make with $11 million, well, I'm just making it harder for myself. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go get in front of every opportunity. I gotta represent my company, my name, my brand in front of every one of these individuals with no help. And not only do I gotta represent myself in front of these individuals, but I gotta make sure that I look good enough that, they can see who I am. Not only do I gotta look good enough to see who I am, but I gotta be able to, afford all of this. And $11 million, hell, a $1 million opportunity ain't cheap, guys. I hope you guys know that. When I say you make $1 million in government contracting with one opportunity, like you don't actually make the million. somebody got to do the work, right? So I showed you guys in my story, we did, one of our opportunities is, we did like 1.4, 1.5. It cost me $652,000 to make that happen. I had to pay workers for that, right? I kept the profit out of that. This is often why I tell you guys you can't make $1 million because you don't have a system. I tell people you can't count to $1 million and they get in their feelings. When I say you can't count to $1 million, if you was to get $1 million contract, I know you got to run payroll. I know you got to get insurance. You got to pay taxes. You got to have all of this stuff in place, payroll taxes and whatnot, that you don't have the system. That's why you can't count. That's why you can't make $1 million, because it scares the hell out of you. When all you needed was a system that can process the things that you don't know how to do. I still can't count to $1 million, but QuickBooks can. So now that I have these opportunities right here, guess what I should be doing? This opportunity right here, this opportunity should be a women-owned opportunity. This opportunity should be a women-owned opportunity. This opportunity right here should be a HUBZone opportunity. And before you know it, I have a bunch of opportunities right here that don't rely on me to do everything. And what ends up happening is I got time to focus a little bit better. Am I going to make all the money? Absolutely not. But am I going to make some good money that I get to learn everything that I need to do $50 million? Yes, you will. But you got to start somewhere. And this is the best place to start, by subcontracting. That's all I'm showing you guys. I'm showing you guys how to be the best subcontractor / consultant. Because the other kicker is, if I have this women-owned opportunity right here, and then we come down the line and like, they don't want to put me on their team, well, you gonna let me be a consultant to you, or else I'm not going to bring no more information. But I don't mind being a consultant to an opportunity. However I need to get it done is what I'm trying to tell you guys. So your pipeline should have multiple ways that you can skin the cat. But I'm telling you right now, if you put $50 million worth of opportunities that only you can do, well, you're going to stress yourself out. But if you got $50 million worth of opportunities that only like $6 million of it is directly for you to do, and then the rest of it is for all of the strategic approaches that you can go after stuff for, that you may not have to compete. All you had to do was collaborate. Collaboration can take you to places that you've never seen before. And that's all I'm trying to do when I build this out. That's the importance of this set aside. The socioeconomic statuses. And let me show you guys one other thing here. When we come here and we start talking about all of this set aside stuff, where is it at? Requirements. We'll look at one of these small business requirements. Eligibility. Now, if you want to be a women-owned business, 51% or more of the firm needs to be owned by a women-owned business. So fellas, your mother can own your business. You can let your mother own 51% of your business and you take 49% of your business. And just like that, you got a business that you can operate and you don't need another person, right? You and your mom can figure this out a whole lot better than you and a stranger. I'm just telling you that because that could be a strategic approach. You can have a sister or cousin, but I will keep this in mind. Everybody keep this in mind. Usually the people who do stuff like this, the other party, like their mother, sister, cousin, wife or something, they didn't believe. They didn't believe that they was going to become a millionaire. So you start this thing up under your mother's name and running a business. You start generating millions of dollars and then, they ask for their piece of the pie. Well, I mean, technically it is their company. So it is their piece of the pie. It's illegal that you don't give them their piece of the pie. Just keep that in mind, because Things get crazy when money get involved. I'm just trying to tell you, man. So since 51% own enables you for any one of them set asides, if you're a veteran owned business, you have to be 51% or more ownership. If you got 3 veteran owners, okay, that'll work. But somebody still got to take the 51% haul. They have to. It needs to be one person that takes 51% or more. Okay? Same thing when you do joint ventures. If you do a joint venture and you want that joint venture to be a women-owned joint venture, then the lead company in that joint venture needs to have 51% or more of the company. That's when that whole mentor protege thing comes into place, because now we ain't got to worry about the percentages because we're mentor protege, right? So just keep that type of stuff in mind when you're trying to win a set aside opportunity. You got to know that whoever the set aside is for needs to have 51% or more ownership of the business. And if you're working with them as a sub or something of that nature, they need to have 51% or more of the contract. And I just like to break it down into dollars, guys. If the project is worth $1 million, it ain't no 50-50. They need to make 51% of the money. And you get 49%. That's the minimum that it could be. All right? And now you start talking about pass-throughs and all. Look, I don't have time for that. Give the company 49% of the money and let them do the work with 49% of the money. You don't count their pockets and they don't count yours. I don't know who gets what profit or whatnot. I just know that I gave the company 49% and we are executing on the deal like it was supposed to. That's simple. Now, before we get out of here, I want to harp on this 8A really quick. The 8A is the holy grail to government contracting. But there's a time limit on this thing, okay? Also, as I told you guys, they changed the rules to the whole 8A thing. The 8A used to be set aside for black businesses. Then they started bringing in all the other businesses, Native Americans and all of this stuff. And now here today, the 8A program is accessible by anybody who is socially disadvantaged. That means if you call a Caucasian person a cracker, like, again, I ain't talking about y'all, but just think, if you're a black person and you call a Caucasian person a cracker, well, technically they're socially disadvantaged. You're talking about them. So they could file their paperwork and, become disadvantaged. They not having a fair shake at this thing called society, right? So keep in mind all of the possibilities that open up because of these new terms of being disadvantaged. But that don't stop you from being disadvantaged at the end of the day. We're going to make sure that we're disadvantaged. I don't know not one black person that ain't disadvantaged. You know what I'm saying? They either came in school, bank, housing, something. Something happened in your life, trust me, that made you disadvantaged. So you gonna ride with that. Now the 8A program here, guys. Same type thing, 51%. It does go off of how much money you make as well. But if you ain't a millionaire, then you don't need to worry about this. Okay, you can fit the program. You should fit the program. All right. Now, the 8A program, see the millions. The 8A program has a time limit. All right. I was trying to find the exact time limit. It used to be, was it 9 years? And they turned it into 10. I know it's 10 years for right now. I'm trying to see if I could look back and see if they were going to bring it down. So we'll say 10 years from now. That happened because of the pandemic. A lot of things got shut down, so they wanted to add extra time onto the 8A companies to make sure, you could still do your thing post-pandemic. Now, why is this program so important? Well, how many of you guys heard people always talk about 40 acres and a mule? I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have heard about 40 acres and a mule. Well, this is your 40 acres and a mule. The 8A program has been our 40 acres and a mule for years. But our emotions behind the definition of government never allowed us to understand how to strategically utilize this stuff. I told you when we talk about government, all we talk about is the negatives of government. But we don't talk about the programs that, you asked for 40 acres and a mule and it was right here. Well, now it's gone. I'm just letting you know right now. That 8A program is open up for everybody. So it being our 40 acres and a mule, it's everybody's now. But that don't mean that you don't, get in the program and try to utilize it. Now, they'll say something like this, that you need to be in business for 2 years. Where did I see that at? All right, you need to be in business for at least 2 years or more. And are interested in expanding their footprint in federal marketplace. Now, I was trying to read up here because I know it's somewhere that you can get around the 2 years in the rule. 2 years or more, that rule. Because there's something like in there that they may make exceptions. All right. So you can get around the exception rule. But here goes the other kicker. What does this say? It says the 8A program can be valued for experienced, socially and economically disadvantaged small business owners who have already been in business for at least 2 years or more. Did any of this work? Did any of this wording right here say like the business owner's name or anything? Or did they just say the business? Weren't they just saying the business? The business has to be up and operating for more than 2 years? I tell you that because you could just go buy a business. That's one way to get around all of this. You could wake up today and say, hey, I want to become a business owner. And then you could go buy a business that's already been operating for 5 years and you could fit every one of their requirements overnight. It's on your emotions that's going to stop you from proceeding forward. But I'm telling you right now, that's how I did it. I just bought a business. And the business that I bought didn't make not one penny. I went to a rich person. Rich people got a lot of businesses that they just opened up and ain't doing nothing with. I paid them $500 for a business that they had open since 2011. And just like that, I had a business that had already been operating for years. And I paid $500 for it. And that $500 enabled me to jumpstart this 8A program. And that's how I got my millions through that program. Just like that. But don't you get in this program until you're ready. One of the worst mistakes that I did was getting in this program too early. I was listening to my PTAC person. My PTAC person told me the 8A program. Go get in the 8A program. And see, PTAC, APACs, whatever they call themselves, they cool. But here's my issue with them. It's a bunch of people in there that ain't never ran a business. They ain't made millions of dollars, but yet they tell you to go get into the 8A program for you to make millions of dollars. That's the worst thing that you could do. You need to learn government contracting first before you get into the 8A program. You will know when you need to get into the 8A program because your customer called the government that you're going to build the relationship with, they're going to kind of give you that signal that we're trying to directly award you something and you need to get in that 8A program so you can get directly awarded this stuff. When contracts go into the 8A program, they can never come out of the 8A program. So your 10 years that you're in there, you should strategically be looking and building relationships with companies that are about to graduate the 8A program. Because here's what's about to happen. These companies got $20, $30 million worth of opportunities in the 8A space. They graduate, they can't access those contracts no more. Now they need to partner with a company that is in the 8A program and potentially come back and get 49% of something that they can't get at all. Okay? So it would behoove you to start the process of building those relationships with those individuals folk first so they could just roll over the contracts to you. And how does that happen? You should be looking at companies that are in year 7. And hopefully you can get a butt in the seat. So the projects that they working on, they could give you 1 or 2 personnel so you could start working on that project. You get some experience on that project. So once you get in the 8A program and you go talk to the customer already knows the team. They already know the flip that's about to happen. That's strategy right there. But you should not go get that 8A without coming up with a strategy first and ensuring that the strategy works. If you get in the 8A program and you do nothing with it, what a lot of people do, you just mess it up for your kids because your kids can't get in the 8A program now because you selfishly got into the 8A program and you wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? And that's extremely selfish to me if you do something like that. So that's the gist, guys, of these opportunities. When it comes to set-asides and your social economic statuses. Also, when you get inside of SB Money Flow, you're going to be able to click right here on opportunities. And you can come here to your solicitations. And you could just come down here and put your set-asides in. Your 8A or your SDVOSB. And now you got all the information right here. Now we can start moving faster. Success and speed, they go together. Our tool allows you to go fast. Now I can look and say, okay, Department of Defense right here. I can go look back at Department of Defense, look at the companies that's already been performing at Department of Defense. And now I can start building relationships with companies in my own backyard that's working with Department of Defense, all at the click of a button inside of SB Money Flow. And then I can take all of this stuff right back over here and put it all on my pipeline so I can stay up to date with it. And when I go to talk to these people, instead of me just sending them an email, I'm going to send them an email through the system right here. I'm going to click on their name. The system is going to take me to the chat window right here. And I'm going to click on email and send them an email from right here. That way I can track everything. We like to track information around here. If I'm not tracking it, I don't know where I made mistakes at. That's the importance of the entire system. Now, I'm going to send them an email because, you probably ain't going to text business to business or business to government. You may do that to consumers, but not over here. And then when I really get ready, guys, when I need my subcontractors, same thing. I'm coming right here and we're going to get all the proposals and estimates for the subcontractor all done right here, all signed, sealed, and delivered right here so I can keep track of it, all inside of this one system called SB Money Flow. And that's how you guys are going to become millionaires, because you're going to have the systems that can process the information for you. And it literally becomes that simple. Does it take work in the beginning? Yes. It's going to take work in the beginning simply because this is new to you. But I'm telling you right now, it ain't hard. It just takes you consistently trying to do new things that you don't know about. And we're going to be with you. We're going to be with you on the 30-day challenge. So make sure that you guys tap into that. Now, the other thing that you guys want to pay attention to before I get out of here, we're over an hour. I keep trying to make this thing an hour. Maybe I should just say an hour and a half, okay? The other thing that you guys want to pay attention to when we're talking about these set-asides is this right here. New money. Can anybody tell me where new money is located at? Where is new money located in the government? How would you find new money? See, I just showed y'all old money. Research about where money is being spent, that's old money. I call that old money because somebody is already eating it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody already got broke bread with that money. So if I want to try to get that money, I'm probably going to be competing with somebody, or I got to build a partnership with looks like my competition, and hopefully we ain't competing with nobody. But that's old money. New money. Lewis is on it. Appropriation bills. Where do you find new money at? Bills. The bills is the new money. Where do you find new money at? The president. That's where you find new money at. Can you guys tell me some new money that the president just talked about not too long ago? Yesterday? Does anybody have an idea of new money that the president just said, but the odds are that you looked at it in an emotional way just like everybody else did? I don't. I don't, because he didn't ask me about how to spend the money. He said, we going to spend the money. With or without your opinion. Infrastructure bill. That's another one. I don't feel like spelling it all out. I know I can't spell. Infrastructure. Whole lot of new money. He did mention that the other day, but that wasn't the one that I was looking for. The president talked about this. I can't say the word, you know what I'm saying? But didn't the president just say that he's releasing money to this? See, everybody thinks that he's sending like a check down there to him or something. No. Well, let me tell you. That $200 million, do you guys know what that is doing? That's buying ammo. Where you think they get their ammo from? USA. That is buying guns. Where you think they get that from? USA. That is buying clothes. Where you think they get that from? USA. That's buying missiles. USA. That $200 million is going to government contractors to supply the resources that they need over there. It's going to American citizens to supply the needs that they are seeking over there. It's going to the American citizens to put gas in that plane in order for them planes to drop off them resources over there. It's going to the trains and the truck drivers to deliver everything to the port in a timely manner, because they need the stuff right now. Not like 2 weeks from now. They need it right now. Everything is an emergency. So we got to make sure that we understand that. We're not going to get emotional no more, and we're going to understand the play. So now what can happen since that money is being spent right now? Well, that's new money. Healthcare is about to pop up. That's going to be new money. New money needs a new home. It ain't never found nobody to do it. Here comes the play. Well, now I got a connection on the ammo, because, I mean, we ain't making the ammo. They already know that. I got a connection on the ammo, but we can run it through the 8A. You know what I'm saying? So the people with the ammo don't mind being a direct award of ammo, and we can get that out fast. I got a direct connection with the clothes, and I'm a woman-owned business. We could do a direct award and keep it under the threshold, do a simplified acquisition to get them clothes through that woman-owned business. See, I can do all of this now because I gave myself time to be strategic. And not only that, when you do this correct with a community like we got over here at Pure Money, do y'all know what I'm going to do if I'm a women-owned company trying to get some of this new money? I'm going to reach out to the Pure Money community, and I'm going to find me 2 more women-owned businesses. And guess what they going to do? They going to go after this too. Why are they going after that too? Because they my friends. They not trying to win the contract. I just need them to submit towards the opportunity, because the contract officer needs to do their due diligence and prove that they did their research and that there was capable women-owned businesses that could perform to justify moving this over to a direct award woman-owned opportunity. But those are my friends. Matter of fact, they so much my friends that I filled out the information for them to submit. I put the A+ on my submittal and I put a B- on theirs. But I knew that only a Caucasian male-owned company that makes millions of dollars was going after this, and they're a large company. I came in here as a strategic approach and say, hey, didn't y'all say 50% needs to go to small businesses? Well, here we are. I'm doing the work for you. I'm doing your market research for you. This is the work that don't nobody want to do. This is why y'all can't become millionaires. This is why it sounds so complicated and so unrealistic, because you won't sit yourself down and do the work first. But all I did was put the strategy together. I stayed in the rules of the game, and I showed the decision maker the way that they got to play. And guess who else was on my side while I was doing all of this? Because Travis tells us to do this. The SBA. They your friend. It's a whole agency called the Small Business Administration that fights for small businesses. No matter if you got 1 employee, no employee, or 400 employee. They will fight for you to make sure you get what you need. But if you ain't gonna talk to the SBA, they ain't about to help you. They got all types of people calling them every day. They remember the people who F you. Follow up. They remember the people who try to do the research first, who try to do some work for themselves first, who try to attempt to get things done. They remember them folks, but they don't remember people that's begging. Just like I don't. I don't remember beggars either. I can't stand a beggar. Because begging ain't going to get you nowhere. Never has, never will. But doing the work up front will get you all the results that you seek. And it's not hard work, guys. It's not hard at all. Did you guys pick up anything that I put down today? Put a fire emoji in the chat. If you guys have any questions right now, feel free to drop the question in the chat and I will try to answer those the best that I possibly can. Once again, I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me here today. Hopefully you were able to get any valuable information out of that. Once again, the only way that I really understand that you guys picked up anything that I put down is by you guys go ahead and put that fire emoji there in the chat. So I do thank each and every one of you guys for being with me today. Don't forget, follow me over on my Instagram if you guys want to stay up to date with everything that I got going on. You can scan that QR code. Also, share this out. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button so we can keep getting them followers up. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get up there with the big boy leagues, and I need y'all assistance because, guys, I ain't going on all them little raggedy podcasts and over here trying to sell people hoop dreams. That just ain't me. So I'm gonna keep doing things the way that I'm doing it. It ain't the fastest way of growing, but it's the way that I appreciate it. So I thank you guys. Say what's up to my homie Nike as well. Also, if you want to stay up to date with all of my training that I got going on, you can always follow my YouTube channel. Once again, we'll save all of the videos right there on YouTube so you guys can go back and watch that replay. That is the place that I want you guys to subscribe and like to. So if you're watching somewhere else, make sure you get over there to that YouTube channel. Also, if you visit officialtravisdavis.com or travisknows.com, you can find out all of the programs that we got going on, all of my social media channels, the whole nine. You can find that all on travisknows.com. Next week, this Thursday, tomorrow, we're going to be talking about building high converting funnels. So we're going to be doing some business to business and business to consumer work right there tomorrow. So you don't want to miss out. That's going to be 7 p.m. tomorrow night. Wednesday, what do we got here? Next Wednesday, we're going to have tips for subcontracting. So We talked about all of these set aside things, but now I need to give you guys some tips on how you can become a great subcontractor as well as get some subcontractors on your team. Next Tuesday, we're going to be talking about building your wealth through property on our Dollars to Cents podcast. So make sure that you guys are checking that out as well. And don't forget, if you guys want to get on the 30-day challenge that's going to be starting January 2nd, or you want to buy it for one of your loved ones so they can make sure they can get a new outlook on this thing called wealth coming into 2024, go ahead and buy it for them. Don't forget, when you do register, though, you're going to have an opportunity to bring people in and get affiliate commissions. You're going to get paid $100 every time you get somebody to sign up. So once you sign up and you get around your loved ones for Christmas, go ahead and give them your link so they can get signed up too, and you can put some money in your pocket. And then you'll just be building a family of wealth right there. Once again, that is sbgovconlive.com. Get yourself registered for that so you do not miss out. Now, let me see if I got any questions here. All right. What we got here? When those new bills come out, is it just, I guess I should move that, huh? When those new bills come out, is it just calling and marketing yourself? Or are those contracts going live on SAM? Great question. So when the new bills come out, you need to follow the money. It's like, who's going to be over the money, right? So it's going to get trickled down somewhere, right? So like the infrastructure bill, a lot of the infrastructure bill money is getting trickled down to your state, right? So the bridges or whatnot, that's not a federal problem. It's a state problem. So the state put a budget in on all of the bridges that need to be fixed. So you probably need to start doing connections with your state government. And they have their own set aside programs. All of the certifications that I went over today, your state and your local government have their own set aside opportunities that need certifications too. MBE, DBE, you got to fill out paperwork for them as well. But you follow the money and then you'll figure out what it is that you need to do. All that new money. And now you can approach them and tell them. Now, mind you, think about, like CMS and HHS when the pandemic happened. They never been through that before. So they was all scrambling. They had to take contractors' opinion on what to do next, and they had to pay for that, right? So now you can bring strategic approaches to these agencies and say, hey, this is the way that you should look at doing business. We can get this problem resolved for you. And the simplified acquisition process, or and understand the GSA schedule or an 8A program, how they can directly access you. You got to put that play together for them. How to join the group? You could go to Facebook and look for Pure Money Legacy. You should be able to find the Facebook group in there. But honestly, the real group are the people who are part of the SB Money Flow. Those are the people who are actively in that thing. So when you get in SB Money Flow, you can get around the group. This is fire information. One of the best. I appreciate you there, Larry. I truly do. Great job. We appreciate your time and commitment. I appreciate y'all. Lewis, for examples, new $200 million comes out in the bill for the U word, something like ammo. Well, so stuff like that, you just too late, right? I know I mentioned that in a new bill, but it ain't new, right? They've been dishing out them bills for a long time when it comes to that. Well, that ain't even a bill. That's just money. They've been dishing that out for a while now. So the players are already playing is what I'm trying to say. You ain't just about to hop up into that one. But if you pay attention to like WHO, whatever they call it, the World Health Organization, and you're hearing about new diseases and stuff coming, and you're paying attention to what other countries are doing to combat it, well, now you can get in front of our health organization. They're tweeting about it and they're doing stuff. You got to track that down and figure out like who is the key player, who is the decision maker. Trust me, They on a stage talking about it. They on podcasts talking about it. They're trying to tell the contractors, we got a problem. Can somebody out there please assist us? And chances are, if it's something like that, they don't have time for the whole proposal process. So you need to get in front of them right now. It's something called a white paper. So you would write them a white paper and say, hey, this is how we could perform. And then they could potentially get you a direct award contract. All types of things could happen when that goes down like that. Now, this type of work don't generate revenue. So a lot of big companies would never do that because they're already making money and they don't do things that don't make money. But us as small boys that ain't making, 10, 15, $20 million, we want to do this because we need to get our name up out of there. And remember, you don't have to have the solution. You just got to know where to get it from. So I say that because one time, if you guys remember, I think it was Philly, they may still do, they had a opioid problem. Well, somebody took what was going on in Canada. Canada had some research that they said, hey, we'll supply you with the drugs and the tools, and it was lowering the opioid crisis. Well, somebody bought it to Philly. The exact same plan to the T. They just studied it from over there and bought it on over to Philly and said, hey, I got a plan. And Philly paid for it. That was that state government. So there's tons of opportunities, and that's how you guys got to start to think. Now, the infrastructure bill, that ain't emergency spending. That may and probably will go through a whole proposal process. But again, same thing. You got to track down the money and figure out who are the stakeholders of it that will be making that decision with you. All right. Hopefully that answered your question there. I'm hoping I didn't go on pause for too long either. I just seen some stuff pop up. All right. Let me make sure I didn't get any questions on Instagram here real quick. If I don't see any, which I don't see any, I believe that we are good to go. All right. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me here today. Don't forget, I'll see you back here tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. Keep hitting that like button. Keep hitting that share button. Keep subscribing to the channel so we can get these numbers up. Once again, I can't keep growing this thing without each and every one of you all, and I'm extremely appreciative of all of the support that I continue to get. I love you guys. I hope that y'all have an amazing night, and I'll talk with you later. This will shut down when the music goes off. Y'all stay blessed.
It's just different.
Yeah, you already know what it is. Pure money, baby. I keep a couple in the bag, homie, I ain't gotta brag. Even when the hater try to doubt me, I just got another contract. Watch the dollars follow back. Let me tell you one thing about me. Said I like my money pure. I like my money pure. Okay, I like my money pure. I said I like my money pure. Oh no, I like my money pure. The bag is secure. Yeah, I like my money pure. I like my money pure. I like my money pure. Come and hang with the gang. Get some free game added to your mainframe. Gotta keep your mind sharp, you gotta maintain. And it's even better when the squad on the same thing. Steady swishing on the competition. We ain't tripping about the opposition. We on a mission and we got a vision. People in need, we believe we got it like I give a couple in the bag, homie, I ain't gotta brag. Even when the hater try to doubt me, I just got another contract. Watch the dollars follow back. Let me tell you one thing about me. I said I like my money pure. I like my money pure. Okay, I like my